Let me ask you something. When was the last time a chatbot remembered your birthday? When was the last time an algorithm checked on you after a rough week? When was the last time AI pulled you aside and said, "Hey, I noticed you seemed off in that meeting. You good?" Yeah, exactly. Never. We are living in an era that is absolutely obsessed with technology. And look, I get it. AI is incredible. Automation can save you hours. Digital tools are transforming how we work. But here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Technology cannot build trust. It cannot read a room, and it absolutely cannot replace the kind of authentic connection that actually moves people, retains talent, and transforms cultures. Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I am Shay Blackmon, founder and CEO of Shay Blackmon Consulting, a DBA candidate in organizational leadership, and the author of High Value Leadership, Transforming Organizations Through Purposeful Culture. Today is episode 62, and we are talking about why relationships will always outperform technology, and how GenX leaders in particular are sitting on a goldmine of skills that the digital-first generation is scrambling to learn. Let me set the stage here. We are in what I call the relationship economy. And no, I did not make that up to sound clever on a Tuesday, although it does have a nice ring to it. The relationship economy is the reality that in a world flooded with automation and digital efficiency, the organizations that win are the ones that invest in real, human, authentic connection. Think about it. You can automate onboarding, but you cannot automate belonging. You can use AI to screen resumes, but you cannot use AI to make a new hire feel seen on day one. You can run engagement surveys through every platform under the sun, but if nobody is having genuine, honest conversations on the ground floor, those results are just pretty charts with ugly truths underneath. In my book, High Value Leadership, I talk about authentic connection as one of the 5 pillars of the High Value Leadership trademark framework. And it is not a throwaway pillar. It is the one that makes all the other pillars actually work. Purpose-driven vision without connection is just a motivational poster on a break room wall. Stewardship of culture without connection is policy enforcement dressed up in nicer language. You need real relationships to bring leadership to life. Now here's where I want to speak directly to my Gen X leaders, and I include myself in this conversation. We grew up in a world where you had to actually talk to people. You could not swipe right on a professional connection. You could not hide behind a Slack message or an email chain when something needed to be said. You picked up the phone. You walked down the hall. You sat across from somebody and figured it out face to face. That is not a disadvantage. That is a superpower in today's workplace. Gen X leaders know how to read body language in a meeting, and I am not talking about the Zoom squares where everyone has their camera off and you are presenting to a grid of initials. I mean the actual in-person skill of noticing when someone's arms are crossed, when they are leaning in, when they are checked out, or when they are about to say something they have been holding back for 3 meetings. That is emotional intelligence in action, and no AI tool on the planet can replicate it. In my experience across manufacturing, automotive, healthcare, nonprofit, and professional services, the leaders who consistently moved the needle on engagement, retention, and culture were not the most technologically advanced. They were the most relationally invested. There was a company where leadership decided to replace all one-on-one check-ins with automated pulse surveys. Efficiency went up on paper. But within 6 months, voluntary turnover jumped significantly because people did not feel heard anymore. They felt monitored. There is a big difference. Now, I want to be clear because I know some of you are thinking, "Shay, are you anti-technology?" Not even close. I am a DBA candidate researching organizational leadership. I use AI tools in my own consulting practice. I believe in working smarter. But here is my stance, and I will say it as plainly as I can. Technology should be a bridge, not a barrier to human connection. Let me give you the distinction. Use AI to gather data so you can have a smarter conversation with your team. Use it. Use automation to free up time so you can actually spend that time connecting with people instead of drowning in administrative tasks. Use digital tools to keep communication flowing between in-person touchpoints. All of that is beautiful. That is AI enhancing relationships. But the moment you replace the conversation with the tool, you have lost the plot. There was an organization that implemented an AI-driven recognition platform. Employees received automated congratulations messages for hitting milestones. On paper, recognition went up 200%. In reality, engagement scores dropped because people knew it was not real. A bot saying, "Great job," does not feel the same as your manager stopping by your workspace and saying, "Hey, I noticed what you did on that project. That took real effort and I appreciate you." The emotional intelligence pillar in the high value leadership trademark framework exists for this exact reason. Awareness and management of emotions, yours and the people around you, is a human skill. AI can give you sentiment analysis, but it cannot give you empathy. Those are very different things. All right, it is time for your action step because you know I do not let you leave here without something to actually do. This is what I call the Connection Audit, and it takes less than 10 minutes. Ready? I want you to think about the 5 people you interact with the most at work. Write their names down. Now, next to each name, answer these 3 questions. 1. When was the last time you had a real conversation with this person that was not about a task, a deadline, or a deliverable? 2. Do you know what matters to them outside of work? Their goals, their challenges, anything personal they have shared? 3. If this person left the organization tomorrow, would they say you genuinely cared about them as a person, not just their output? If you have gaps, and most of us will, that is your roadmap for this week. Pick one person from that list and have a genuine, non-agenda conversation. Not a meeting, not a check-in, a real human moment. I have seen this one exercise shift entire team dynamics when leaders commit to it consistently. It comes directly from the authentic connection pillar in the high value leadership trademark framework, and it is one of the simplest, most powerful things you can do as a leader. Let me give you a practical framework for how to think about this balance. I call it the 80-20 connection rule. 80% of your leadership impact should come from direct human interaction, conversations, mentorship, team building, walking the floor, being present. The other 20% can be supported by technology, scheduling, data analysis, communication platforms, project tracking. Here is how that plays out. Use AI to identify patterns in turnover data so you know which teams to focus on. Then, go talk to those teams. Use analytics to understand engagement trends and then sit down with your managers and coach them through what those trends actually mean for their people. Use technology to remove the noise so you can focus on the signal, and the signal is always people. This is exactly what I discuss in my work around stewardship of culture. A culture steward does not manage culture from behind a dashboard. They are in it. They are walking the production floor. They are sitting in the break room. They are asking questions and actually listening to the answers. That is transformation. Everything else is just reporting. I want to speak to the professional women listening to this right now. You already know how to build relationships. Many of you have been doing it your entire career, often with less support, less sponsorship, and less recognition than your counterparts. The ability to connect, to empathize, to build trust across diverse groups of people, that is not just a leadership skill. That is a strategic advantage. And in the Shield Resilient Strategy Guide, which is your free download for this episode, I talk about external support and the importance of building a robust support network. Your sponsor, your mentor, your coach, your peer allies, those are not just nice to have connections. Those are strategic relationships that multiply your resilience. The guide walks you through exactly how to build and activate those connections, including specific scripts you can use to reach out to mentors, sponsors, and peer allies. It also covers the internal resources section, which is all about strengthening your inner foundation, building confidence rooted in evidence, not just affirmation, so you can show up powerfully in every room you enter. Do not let anyone convince you that technology will make your relational skills obsolete. It will not. In fact, the more automated the workplace becomes, the more valuable those skills are. You are not behind. You are ahead. Own that. Here's what I want you to take away from today. The relationship economy is not a trend. It is not a phase. It is the future of leadership. And those of us who have spent decades building authentic connections are not outdated. We are exactly what the modern workplace needs. Technology is a tool. Connection is the strategy. And the leaders who understand that distinction, they are the ones building cultures that people actually want to be part of. If this episode resonated with you, do me a favor. Download the Shield Resilient Strategy Guide. It is free, it is in the show notes, and it will give you a complete framework for navigating professional challenges with confidence and grace. And while you're at it, drop a comment and tell me, what is one relationship at work that you are going to invest in this week? I want to hear from you. And if you are ready to go deeper, my book, High Value Leadership, Transforming Organizations Through Purposeful Culture, breaks down the entire framework with real strategies you can implement starting now. The link is in the show notes. I am also building something special, the High Value Leadership Intensive course. If you want to be the first to know when it launches, stay connected, follow the podcast, and keep your eyes on the show notes for early access details. This is going to be the kind of deep dive experience that changes how you lead from the inside out. Thank you for spending this time with me today. This is Shay Blackmon reminding you, unlock your potential, empower your purpose, and transform your world. I will see you Thursday for episode 63, where we are digging into culture metrics that matter beyond NPS and ENPS. That one is going to challenge some assumptions, so come ready. Until then, lead with purpose, lead with connection, and lead out loud.